I'm not sure if you can see this very well. This is the breakdown, but in summary, we had in 2010, about 7-8 months ago, we had 371 people from around the world attend the Hong Kong Forum. It's not targeted at Hong Kong business people. It's targeted at people outside of Hong Kong who wish to do business in Hong Kong and China. And of the 371 attendees, I think it's, is that Canada? Canada had 89, so I think we're just behind Japan and the most attendees from around the world as a country. And about a third of them come from the professional services sector. That's shown in this gray part here. That's Canada, by the way, 89. And 35% are from the professional sector, which would include engineers, bankers, lawyers, accountants, and others. You know, people quite often ask me, you know, what's the benefit from attending the Hong Kong Forum? And there's the obviously networking advantages, networking with like-minded people from around the world, but also getting exposed to various Hong Kong business people at the sessions. The speakers are top-notch, and I've got some PowerPoints here that follow. But they're top of the government, top of the business sector, so you really get some interesting intelligence about what's going on in Hong Kong and Hong Kong as a link into China. I think the third benefit for many of us is the camaraderie and the fun. It's, as I said, it's like-minded people. There's good social events, and it's just easy and relaxed. And what I suggest to people is that if you're thinking about doing a business trip this fall or in the winter to Hong Kong or China, whether it's your first or one of many trips, time it around the Hong Kong Forum if you have some flexibility. So you can be doing your own business, your own meetings while there, and then make yourself available for the 2 days of the Hong Kong Forum, and you'll get a lot of value out of that trip. This is just some of the speakers that we've had in the last forum, actually. Secretary for Justice Pansy Ho, Stanley Ho's daughter, Shuntak Holdings, was a good speaker. Victor Chu on the bottom your left. He's the chairman of a private equity group in Hong Kong and also one of the leading lawyers, solicitors in Hong Kong. He's a very colorful speaker. And how many here, a little bit of Hong Kong knowledge here, how many here have heard of Li & Fung as a business? A few of you have. It's one of the dominant trading conglomerates in Hong Kong, owned by the Fung family, and we're fortunate to have Victor Fung, the chairman of Li & Fung, speak. He's got some always good business insights of what's going on. They do a lot of contract manufacturing work in China for labels, clothing, textiles, toys around the world. So very good up-to-date knowledge about the manufacturing sector in Hong Kong and China. Some more of the speakers include Alex Chu from Dow Chung, another conglomerate in Hong Kong. John Chu on this side was an interesting guy because he's got a digital production company, and I forgot the name of it, but he actually made and produced a movie for Disney 2 or 3 years ago that was around, cartoon would be a very loose description of what it was, but on, do you remember what it was? Do you remember it? It was a leading movie. Anyway, no one remembers it. This is just some of the easy networking that comes with the Hong Kong Forum. Coffee breaks. There's a cocktail reception on the first evening, and we tend to invite some local Hong Kong business people out from the associations. And lunches, 2 keynote lunches, and which would be Tuesday and Wednesday, and also a very good farewell dinner as a wrap-up on the last night. There's also a side trip to China that's optional. About 40 to 60 people attend it, so kind of around 10 to 15% of the Hong Kong Forum attendees also attend the side trip. Last year's side trip was 3 days long, and we went to the Guangxi province that was mentioned in the video a few minutes ago. And we saw the city, the tourist city of Guilin, and also the business city of Nanning in the Guangxi province. And what's unique about this is on kind of the southwestern side of China, these provinces, this province of Guangxi, and so it borders Vietnam and the other ASEAN countries. And so this province, a lot of the businesses were kind of doing manufacturing and exporting their products into the ASEAN countries, or moving their manufacturing operations into the ASEAN countries for lower cost. So just interesting to get the business perspectives of both the mayors of the cities and more particularly the business owners. I really recommend the side trip. Some of you have done a side trip. I think a few of you have.
I went the previous year.
Winnie? Yeah. A lot of fun?
Oh, it was great. 70 countries represented in our group, and it was great networking.
What was the best part? Meeting the business owners, the politicians, or more the fellow members?
Getting an update about what's going on from a very different perspective. If you go on your own, you may have your own business connection, but you don't have that overview.
Yeah, we get access to the key figures on these side trips in China, which you couldn't do on your own. A lot of fun? Yeah. Foot massage?
I won't tell you that. Can you say a little bit more about this year's Guangzhou visit?
I will. Yeah. Thank you. I'll skip over. There's not much on that PowerPoint. This is again more fun. At the end of the second day, the closing date, which would be Wednesday, November 30th, if I've got my calendar right, there is a big farewell dinner that for all the attendees, spouses can come to, hosted by the TDC, and we've had great locations. This year, 8 months ago, it was at Cafe Deco on top of the Peak. Previous years, we've been in the Western Market, been at the Hong Kong Jockey Club for the racing. We had a private box and watched the racing and had dinner. We've done junk trips to Lama, Aberdeen, floating restaurant. So it's always a good ride each year. And I think the Jockey Club was so popular that we are trying to do that this year, subject to race details and things like that. But that was the most fun of all the wrap-up dinners that I've had, having a private box at the Hong Kong Jockey Club in Happy Valley, watching the races that evening, which is, I guess you could call it a quintessential Hong Kong experience. And make some money. Just a flavor of the speakers that I'm moving more now into this year's forum, what we proposed. And we're still in the planning stages, but Donald Chung, the Chief Executive, will be our luncheon speaker. The other welcome speaker on the first day, the other luncheon speaker, I should say, is Margaret Leung, who's the Vice Chairman of the Hang Seng Bank here. Do most of you heard of Hang Seng Bank? Some of you? Yeah. It is probably, I don't know, third, maybe biggest bank in Hong Kong. It's controlled by HSBC, but it's by far the largest local bank, very dominant in the Hong Kong economy, branches everywhere. So she'll be a great speaker. Bernard Chan will be speaking in the first morning from Council of Sustainable Development, which is obviously a big factor in the Hong Kong economy these days. There'll be other speakers that we're currently lining up. One thing that I'm very impressed with the TDC, the Hong Kong Trade Development Council, and I'll let Andrew describe what the organization in time is a bit more, but they're the sponsors of this forum. And not only do they sponsor, I mean, there's a small registration fee, but they sponsor to the tune of about Canadian $300,000 a year. This conference is a big deal to put on. But they also do a lot of good work in sourcing speakers and prepping the speakers beforehand. So when you hear these speakers during the 2 days during the forum, they're hitting their mark. The messages are clear, and you'll always learn something interesting. One thing that we tried for the first time last year that was probably the biggest hit was finding two very significant Chinese entrepreneurs from mainland China, and we brought them down to speak. We had some simultaneous translation going on because they weren't fluent enough in English, but you saw them quickly on the video, and the messages they had about starting their business and expanding it out of China was very interesting. And those are just some of the other workshops that we'll have. It's a combination of, there are some sessions, particularly on the first morning, where everybody's in the same room listening to 3 or 4 speakers on stage with a moderator. And then in the afternoons, it tends to be more breakaway sessions where you have a choice of 3 or 4 different themes, and you can attend one of the workshops. And they're more smaller and informal and very specific messages like marketing a product in China, or manufacturing pitfalls and how to overcome them, and or succeed in the service sector. Winnie was asking about this year's side trip. Wait, Joe?
惠州 in Cantonese, 惠州in Mandarin.
Thank you. That's why we have Winnie here. Expert in these things, in the niceties of China.
That was.
It's, would you like to describe where it is? Are you comfortable describing where it is? It's north of Shenzhen, is it?
Where is in the back? But the capital, a lot of people would know for that cultural pocket is Suotao in English. And that is where Li Ka-shing's hometown is from that area, speaking the language which is very different from Cantonese.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
linguistically it's different.
Because it's part of the Guangdong province, isn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Shenzhen obviously is just north of Hong Kong, and this is to the eastern side of the Guangdong province, adjacent to Dongguan, a big manufacturing area in Guangzhou. So it's only probably a couple of hours by bus to get there. It's a 2-day trip, Thursday and Friday. The cost is small. It's 200, 500 Hong Kong per head, and that, roughly at today's exchange rates, a little over 300 a head. That includes one night in a very good hotel. It includes the buses, the meals throughout. Basically, you don't have to open your wallet during the whole 2 days. So everything's taken care of. And the access, again, it will be business owners, both local and foreign, some manufacturing that's going on there. I think Huizhou is prominent for petrochemical, industrial sector, but also in the services side, IT, and export and import. So it's a diverse economy. And I know nothing. I lived in 7 years in Hong Kong, and I know lots about Dongguan and Guangzhou and Foshan, but I know nothing about Huizhou, so I'm looking forward to this. There's a reference here in my notes from the TDC. There's a city there called Shanghai, Qianhai. Shanghai. Thank you. And my notes here from the TDC says that the Chinese government aims to build this into the Manhattan of the Pearl River Delta. So that'll be fascinating. So we'll visit 3 or 4 businesses. We'll have a couple banquets, meet the mayors, meet some of the trade officers from the government in these regions. So I think, again, it'll be another very well put together trip. The World SME Expo, Andrew, did you want to say a few words now or wait till your presentation?
Wait till later.
Wait till your presentation. Just in wrap-up mode now. To attend the Hong Kong Forum, you have to be a Hong Kong Canada Business Association member, which is not an onerous requirement, right, Joyce? You can register and pay online. There's the website link, and it's also in your materials that you have. The cost, the early bird cost is 560 Hong Kong dollars, so that's about $70 Canadian as a registration fee, and that covers probably about 1/20th of the actual costs. So it's very good. As I mentioned earlier, TDC sponsors this to about $300,000 annually, plus all the organizations. Fantastic. Make your travel arrangements with Cathay Pacific, of course. Always, not that it's important, but they do have competitive fares. It's just the service is outstanding, so I don't always fly Cathay Pacific. And on the website, there'll be information on hotels. And I think one of the favorite hotels of the delegates is the Luk Wak Hotel in Wan Chai, which I've stayed at also. And I know Andrew, you stay there a lot, and so many of the others here. Great rates, can be as low as 1,000 Hong Kong a night, but depends. I don't know what this year's rates will be, probably a bit more. But the service, its location, it's a 5-minute walk to the convention center where this is located. MTRs, taxis, everything is good there. I've also found some of the delegates are getting more adventurous, and there's a lot of hotels that have opened up in the last 5 to 10 years in Hong Kong. North Point area, Causeway Bay, Wan Chai Central. So there's a lot of good, very good, reasonably priced 3-4-star hotels that service is outstanding. And of course, we've got a member here, Calvin Mack. He's not here today, but he's the management company for the Lan Kwai Fong Hotel in Central, just above Lan Kwai Fong. So that's another, some of our delegates stay there too. So just to wrap up, any questions or comments, you can ask myself or Andrew. Joyce may be the easiest one to reach, and her contact details are there. Joyce puts together the whole trip. Sort of helps the logistics on the Canadian side for the Hong Kong Trade.